Nearly all of the Blue Line is shutting down early this week for repairs needed to end the ongoing slow zones on the route, one of the several major issues that have MBTA riders at their wits' end. And Governor Maura Healey making some major changes to the system. The Blue Line will shut down at 8 p.m. through Thursday and again for the first 4 days of May. Those slow zones across all of the transit system subway lines were among the most common causes for complaint at the latest MBTA board meeting, where members heard voicemail messages from some pretty incensed riders.
It's insane. You're going 5 miles an hour. I'm enraged and disgusted at the conditions of the MBTA and what you've let go on for so long.
I'm a tech at MGB, and I'm getting threatened to lose my job. I can't get to work on time because you people can't do your job. I don't understand why y'all aren't being fined every day. If I lose my job, I'm suing you people.
Well, less than 2 days later, Governor Healey responded with some big changes for the MBTA's board of directors, replacing the board's chair and 2 other members. And today, the governor appointed the state's first ever transportation safety chief. That's Patrick Lavin. He worked on a 2019 independent report highlighting widespread problems at the MBTA. Joining me to discuss these moves and the many ongoing issues plaguing the T are Brian Kane, executive director of the MBTA Advisory Board, and Mela Bush-Miles, who leads the T-Riders Union and is the transit-oriented development director at the organization Alternatives for Community and Environment. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So Patrick, or rather Brian, I apologize, Patrick Lavin is that new hire there. What was your response and reaction when you had heard how frustrated riders have been? You and I were talking before we sat down that you've been going to a lot of these meetings.
I've been attending MBTA Board of Director meetings since at least 2008, and I have never heard riders as incensed as we heard on those voicemail messages. It was really shocking.
I imagine that this is something that, the folks with the T-Riders Union, they hear all the time, and you all organize around it.
Yes, we get phone calls about everything from bus stops disappearing to why can't I get to work on time. During the Orange Line shutdown, we rode from one end to the other and back. We started at 11:30 in the morning. We got back at 6 o'clock at night. We stopped for lunch because it was taking so long. And we found many riders there who, one person took 2.5 hours to get from South Station to Haymarket.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, frustration seems to be a small word for what people are experiencing right now. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Livid?
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
They're livid. And if any of the language that was detailed at the board meeting is an indicator, and as we heard, the person saying that they will sue them if they lose their job, it's impacting children's ability to get to school, education-wise. They're being held back. They're not able to travel and get to school on time. They get detention. They may have to repeat a year. The severe impacts on the lives of people is what is concerning to us. And, how do you fix it? How did we get here? And how in the world can the MBTA make this right for the riders? Maybe saying free fares for a year, because in any other business, you would have been yelped into oblivion if you gave that bad of service. So, this is the MBTA. These are our dollars that are paying for it.
Well, I mean, Brian, we're talking about these shakeups. Will change equal progress here, do you think?
We have 3 strong appointments by the governor last week, and a very strong appointment today with Pat Lavin as the new MassDOT Chief Safety Officer, on top of the appointment of Philip Eng 3 weeks ago as the new general manager. So I am optimistic, and I hope this is the turning point. We've been here before, however,
right,
and we've all seen new appointments in the past, new boards in the past. We had a Fiscal and Management Control Board. We had a MassDOT Board of Directors in 2009. We have had many, many different types of governance by many, many different types of people, not to mention over a dozen general managers in the last 20 years. So it really has less to do, I think, with the people and more to do with the political leadership that we have. I'm optimistic that Governor Healy and this legislature are serious about turning the T around and fixing it once and for all. And I have to hope that this is the beginning of that.
When we're talking about these incidents, right, you know, I'm thoughtful of that image of runners of the Boston Marathon getting stuck on the train after running 26.2 miles. And I'm thoughtful of the safety issues, the tile falling down in the tunnel in front of the young lady who was carrying her shopping. Of course, the deaths that we have seen. It is both incredible and a tragedy. What do you think it'll take to motivate these folks to really get the change that needs to happen?
I think that the MBTA really needs to start really going into a deep dive of working with riders directly, getting real feedback and real input, even in planning for the future and how they're going to do that. We asked them, why aren't you fixing the stairs at Ruggles Station during the Orange Line shutdown? They said, oh, we needed to use those stairs so we could get down to the platform. I said, no, you didn't. They are not navigatable. How in the world could you do that? So I think that the real thing will, you know, we have really strong folk like Tom McGee and working on what he's, I mean, we've worked with him for years on many things around the MBTA and improvements and things. So if they really start listening to us, maybe if we could even have more feedback to give during a board meeting, because once we say what we say at 2 days before we learned what was going to be on the agenda, they don't give us enough time to even know what's going to be on the agenda. So once we're able to, you know, have a bigger conversation and then really get and take a deep dive into what our experiences are. And my recommendation at that board meeting was they all need to ride the T. No plan should happen on any route, you know, without someone having been there riding that every day to see what the experience of the ride. You can't take away a bus route, you redesign a bus network or something without knowing how that's going to impact people. So that's how we could get to a better future, is to work with us and really start with the list. You know, the stairs they have to fix the escalators. You know, you go to South Station, the escalator was down for months. The people are trying to navigate with luggage and things like that. Things like that. You got to start at the beginning, at the biggest thing, which is safety.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a few ways that we could recommend to make it better and get to where we need to be. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it didn't take a day to get here, and it's not going to take a day to get out of it.
That's true. And you did mention, you know, these new members, current members need to ride the train, right? We know that the Globe just published a review saying that many of the senior managers here have a primary residence more than 100 miles from the nearest T station. So, Brian, I mean, how can you effectively create change if you may not even know what it's like to ride the T in the city of Boston?
I saw that was great reporting by Andrea Estes.
Yeah.
I guess I just would note, first of all, David Panagore is a gentleman on that list. He's the T's chief administrative officer. I have seen him in the transportation building many, many times, and I know for a fact that he's a very dedicated public servant who is often in the office. The other 11 I can't really speak to. They're folks that didn't work there when I worked there. But hearing that people live in California and Florida and Wisconsin,
right.
It's outrageous. I don't see why this was allowed to happen. That was clearly a management failure by the Baker administration and their folks that they picked to run the T. And frankly, it's unacceptable. You should be able or required to be in the office several days a week certainly if you're overseeing construction projects, my God. As if the red and orange line cars that we have bought with billions of taxpayer dollars are working properly and are being delivered on time. The fact that this guy is in California trying to oversee this is ridiculous. He should be in Springfield, for Christ's sake, every day, making sure that these things are actually working.
Right. And I think about the fact that there's this big staffing shortage. You know, they're offering what was it, $7,500 signing bonuses just to get folks to work on the T. I mean, what role do you think all of that has to play in the dysfunction? And I'm going to ask you both, but I'll start with you.
Sure.
Right? People won't even take the money, right? Like,
No, like they have to make the working conditions there better.
Yeah.
I watched them kick the quality of life discussion down the road like 4 or 5 times when they kept putting on the board agenda, oh, let's talk about quality of life. Oh, let's talk about that next month. You know, if you make the working conditions better, you can attract people to work there. We watched a whole staff turnover in a planning department for the entire bus network. And I watched them go, okay, I worked there for 2 months, I'm out. You know, every couple of months, a person left. By the time you got to the end, the people you started with weren't there. So how can you make a plan when the people don't want to stay there? Why do they keep leaving? They need to really assess what is it that we're doing wrong that people don't want to continue to work at the MBTA. And then when they figure that out, make it better. I have plenty of people that I know that work there 6 months in, they terminated their employment. Well, 5 months, 23 hours, and 30 minutes. So there's the problem.
Yeah.
So this is, I think that's what they have to do. The sign-on bonuses, we also watch them waste $500,000 one year. They reported out to the board that they spent $500,000 trying to get people into the building, and they didn't want to come. They hired 10 people for $500,000. How?
Yeah.
You're just aghast
Right.
at how bad it is to try and also the operators. The operators, they need to fix the issues with the starting pay, you're making it a career. We're working on figuring out with some other folk how to make these careers attractive and how to get young people into these careers. So I'm working with some transit folk to work on that with the MBTA and some national organizations.
Because it should, I mean, it's a job with a pension, right? Nowadays, can be a rare thing.
That's
right?
a career.
It's a career, yeah.
It certainly used to be. I
Yeah.
mean, folks used to join the T at 18 and they
Right.
would be there for 23, 25 years. At the time, the T had very generous educational benefits. They would pay for you to go to college if you came back and worked as an engineer for them. And these were the folks, let's not forget what the T used to be able to do. They put the Orange Line underground while extending the Red Line on either end and massively expanding commuter rail in the 1980s, with folks that started off as bus drivers or train drivers or track walkers. We have done this before in Massachusetts, and we can do it again.
Yes.
I believe that we can fix the T. It's just a question of political will. I hope we have turned the corner. I believe we have turned the corner. I want to believe we have turned the corner. But I think we have to get started now.
It's true. All right, well, we're going to have to leave the conversation there. I think we all know we could be talking about this for weeks now. Brian Kane and Mela Bush Niles, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.